Did you want to do introductions?
How do I, hey everyone, this is Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And we'll just do it in
if
a
it's
corny
shit,
way.
we'll just cut it out.
Yeah.
That's fine. Cool.
Okay, ready to roll?
Yeah, let's hit it.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Hey everyone, this is Kyle Addy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something a bit more.
No, do you want me to talk about you?
Oh, you can give me like a brief. You
Yeah,
know, like
he's taller Kyle's taller than I am and far stronger.
Yeah, okay, that sounds pretty good. This is Peter. He is older than me. And,
You're too kind.
Oh.
So what does ACAQ actually do?
That's the Australian Climbing Association of Queensland, and it's not a club, it's an incorporated association. We are a peak representative body for outdoor rock climbing in Queensland, recognised legally, so we have legal status if anything has to go to court. We're recognised in government departments that are relevant as the people to go to for consultation, and we are slowly expanding into areas such as crag care and building relationships.
So who are the people involved with maintaining our crags?
Maintaining crags is generally done through volunteer work, and it's generally people that have got lots of experience with maintaining bolts, so how to remove bolts and put them in. And it's kind of an organic knowledge transfer that occurs. People get interested in it, so if they come to us, we might introduce them to someone who knows what they're doing.
There are a lot of non-for-profit organisations out there. Why should we be supporting ACAQ?
People generally support non-for-profits because they are interested or invested in that particular organisation. So for ACAQ, if you're somewhat invested in outdoor climbing, it's probably in your interest to support us in our work.
As part of the next generation of climbers, what advice would you give to the future generation of climbers that's coming up?
I think becoming involved with the community that we have, because in doing that, like I said, you'll become more aware of things that you could be doing better and making a bit more of a difference. And that's, I think, the root of it. Like if everyone is together in like this community, we'll become a lot more like-minded and be aware of preserving what we have and being more of a team, I suppose, if that makes sense.
Does ACAQ actively consider cultural heritage when they are gaining access to certain crags?
Regardless of whether we're gaining access or we already have access, it's written into our constitution in any case. So, just carved in stone. So yes, we do. Yeah. And we need to continue to develop our relationships with the traditional owners.
Could you run us through the process of how you do so?
It's difficult because they're quite a diverse and disparate groups around the place. But so I've had some good advice from some elders, and one was Uncle Noel Blair, who's Jinnabara, up around back of the Glasshouse Mountains. And he said, just go to the Sunshine Coast Reconciliation Group. That's a good go-to. So reconciliation groups are often a good place to start.
I think it's something that I might add to that as well, like as a bringing it back to like the base level of like climbers and like what we can do, like thinking about Aboriginal culture, like they are like custodians basically. That's part of their culture. They're custodians of the land they walk in there. That's what they protect, right? And it's everyone can take a little bit away from that, like when you're going into the mountains and pretty much everywhere, like you are a custodian of the place you're going into, and that's like should be very, very important. Take care of the place that you're going to, like it is our home.
If you could turn back time, how would you have handled the situation at Minto to be able to retain access, and what have you learned?
In hindsight, we could have probably just bought it because that facility is always available. The department asked us to support a submission for it to be vested as a recreation reserve administered by the Scenic Rim Council, The Scenic Rim Council weren't particularly in love with that option, because when it finally went to council, the whole thing had blown up. It was in the newspapers, and the arguments posed by locals were supported by council, because that's appropriate. Council should be looking after its local people and their wishes. So I don't have any particular angst about what occurred there, and I don't have any angst at all that it's been vested to the traditional owners now. Could we have done anything better? Yeah, we would have consulted first, like a lot of consultation first, and looked at appropriate tenure. But like I said, that's hindsight.
So, Kyle, what is your opinion on Minto?
Well, I agree with what Pete says, and like in the best outcome that would have, say if we actually did buy the land, and like it could be like one of the best climbing areas like in Australia or Queensland or whatever, but we're still left with the same problems which got us into the situation that we're in the first place. Like, we didn't really win with the access. We learnt a lot, but we didn't win. We didn't have access to climb there for several reasons. And when you consider the reasons why people really put in a huge effort to make us not climb there, like, we got to be a bit more accountable for actually what happened. We are looked at by like members of the community, and like in our climbing community as well, by things we do. So if we're going to a crag and like it, being, loud, that does affect other people, and we need to be more accountable and more responsible when we're going into these very special areas, because they're not just ours, they're everybody's.
There are a lot of non-for-profit organisations out there. Why should we be supporting ACAQ?
Looking at ACAQ and it being like the only representing like organisation of the climbing community, in comparison to canyoning, for example, right, which doesn't have like a body that actually represents them, and they're losing access left, right and centre. You look at other states like Victoria, where we have lost access into places, you can see how important it is as an organisation, as an issue, to have access to the places we want to go. Like, Peter, like at Bluey's, you can see how the community has backed and what the result has been, right? Like, what can you say there?
It's the Blueys is an interesting place because a lot of the cliffs are on council land, and the national park is adjacent. But you've got a really good community there, which also helps because the climbers there are locals, which is not so much the case in Queensland. They don't actually live in the climbing area. So it is a bit of a difference, but yeah, that strong community does assist with keeping access open in the Blue Mountains.
And that being like an incentive, like in itself, like thinking about those points and having our access and having a goal in mind, like the money that I'm putting into this is going towards buying Harvey's marbles, and it is going towards maintaining our access into these places that we climb.
Or the court case, if we need to challenge something,
it's hard to see like that background, like what ACAQ does, like, because I don't understand the legalities of what's involved with a lot of that, but I understand where it goes and what it's used for, and that is so important. And the goal of buying land, that's where we need to be in the future for sure, because we need to take the growing numbers that we have in the climbing community. We have to be proactive and think further ahead of where we're going to go. We need to take pressure off the national parks. We need to take care of the places that we are going, so we maintain our access to them.
And pressure's a good point, because most of our climbing is in national parks, and they're national parks for a reason. And as the climbing numbers grow, it's more pressure, and we come under the microscope.
Has ACAQ considered other ways to boost membership?
It's always on our mind, because membership is pretty key to our moving forward. and having some legitimacy. Brand awareness is big. So we've, got the new logo. We're looking at a merchandise stream. I think it's important that people understand what ACAQ is about. I think there's a lack of understanding of what we do. And I also think that we need to have a clear strategy and a clear mission that we can iterate to our people fairly simply. And they understand exactly what we do and where we're going, what our aims are, and what are the benefits of having ACAQ in the climbing community working for them.
How could I help out?
There's many ways. We always rely on volunteers. It's entirely volunteer run, and we're always looking for a broad range of expertise. People that are skilled in the natural sciences, so that we can review ecological documents that government produces to see if it's actually correct, comprehensive enough. We, need IT people. Lawyers are good. It's just a range of skills. So whatever skill set someone's got, just come and ask us if they could help out. It may only be for one small project a year, or you might just be sitting on the shelf till we need you. The other thing is just pure membership. I have had a couple of meetings with state politicians, and they ask almost immediately, how many members do you have? And the bigger the numbers, the more they're interested. Yeah.
Can I actually say pity being an incentive? I
appreciate that.
If we don't have these people that, they put in a lot of hard work, and like you, Pete, you put in a lot of hard work, and you're not actively getting something out of it, you know what I mean? So people that have that legal capability and knowledge on how they can help and they can make a difference in this organisation. And even people like me who hasn't got a bloody clue about that, but I'm a tradie, I can use a shovel, everyone can get involved somehow, and everyone can contribute to the kind of greater good, if you'd say, of the climbing community for sure.
Certainly no monetary value in it, but there's other values which are tangible but unobtainable for the broader population. I've mentioned I was in the United States, and because I'm in an access organisation, it opens doors over there. I get invited to VIP climbing days sponsored by Edelrid and things like that. If you're not in these organisations, you just don't get access to them. So there are some benefits to it.
With people, if people didn't get involved, we would be in a very, very different place. We need those people that kind of have what we need in a way to keep our access. Yeah. And if sometimes if they don't help us, then we're not going to get anywhere.